Good day, welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to preview Season 2, the announcements they've made regarding Season 2, and obviously the content in the Undermined region. So we're going to take a look at everything, running through a couple articles, release schedules and everything. So yeah, let's take a look. So first thing to understand is the War Within Season 2 will begin on the 5th of March, but the Undermined content will go live on the 26th. So this is the open world content, and obviously when they mention Season 2 they're talking raids, dungeons, Mythic Plus, delves, etc. But Undermined will go live on the 26th. Thunderstorm will also end at the same time, so you still have around 12 days for that. We have the new zone overview, enter the hub of Goblin Ingenuity in Undermined, with a D in brackets. And basically, we have a new region that we will be able to kind of conquer and take over. So, with Undermined, obviously one of the big engagements is the new customizable land mounts drive, and basically you're going to get the Dragonflight version of a ground mount, and there will be a new racing mechanism and a new driving mechanism, which will be very cool. There is also new factions. We have the Bilgewater Cartel, the Steam Weedle, Blackwater, and the Venture Company, all of which you will be able to interact with, gain reputation with, and obviously forge out new renown with. 2 new delves have been added into the rotation, Side Street Sluice and Excavation 9. These will bring new specializations for Brand as well. You get a new tanking spec, and there will be a whole bunch of new rewards, and we'll cover that in the Season 2 docket. There's also a new PvP arena and some new user interface updates. Cultist Quay, Honoran, Overlook, Feywild Spring, and just basically a whole bunch of new stuff that's going to be there for your warband. And of course, they've added in some new updates to the quest log, which I think is going to be really helpful. Then, of course, we have the new raid, and we have Season 2. So going back to Season 2, obviously, that will start the 5th of March. For a bit more detail on the Goblin nodes, look, Undermined, you will have to finish the leveling campaign. You have to take the Undermine when Opportunity Explodes quest from Gazlo and Renzik at Foundation Hall in Nornagal. You will then basically do an introductory course, and basically you'll head to the Undermine. Undermine will have its hub, stations, and basically whole new factions, the 4 factions. There's a new dungeon, there'll be some new bosses, and pretty much overall Undermined is very similar to any of the previous expansionary zones. So the Delve, the Underdark, all those sort of things from before in previous expansions, the Niffin Zone, etc. All pretty standard stuff. There'll be new world quests, there's new delves, there's new dungeons, but most importantly, it'll be your new hub for world events, raid bosses, world bosses, the raid, and basically be where you be adventuring and performing a lot of your tasks for Season 2. So going back to obviously the Season 2 information for the War Within, I think it's super important to note that Season 2 begins on the 5th of March. So you have around about, give or take, a week before the release of the seasonal content from the beginning of the Undermined. So that's just to get you kind of into grips with the Undermined, and obviously into an understanding with the Undermined kind of faction and everything that happens there. So now with Season 2, the main thing is obviously the raid. We have the new raid, Liberation of Undermine, and raid finder item level starts at 606. So of course, introduction of story mode will also be released, and everyone will be interested in that. What are the rewards? For the Undermined raid, the release schedule is like this. So basically, we have the Undermine, 8 raid bosses, 606. On the 5th, Raid Finder Week 1 will release, normal, heroic, and mythic difficulty. from the 12th, Raid Finder Wing 2, and Story Mode will release. This is obviously something very important because it's a free item, so it's important to note. Then we have Raid Finder Wing 3 and 4 releasing on the 18th and 25th. The raid bosses are Vexy and the Gear Grinders, Cauldron of Courage, which features 2 different bosses, obviously in the arena. We then have Rick Reverb, which is a goblin band thing. Then we have Styx Bunk Juncture, Sprocket Master Lock and Stock, the One-Armed Bandit, Muggsy Head of Security, all down to Chrome King Galliwags, which will be Galliwix inside of a giant robot. Obviously, the big attraction will be the armor sets. I think all of them look really cool. The Death Knights, specifically, I like really, really nicely. We have, for Demon Hunters, I think this is okay, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan. We have the Druids. It's a nice set. It seems similar to what's been done before, but it's cool. Then we have Evoker. I mean, it's just always difficult to tell. I do like the pauldrons on the Evoker. We have Hunter, also, okay. We have Mage. This one I like a lot. Just dig those type of things on Mage. Monk, cool. Paladin, very nice. Priest, okay. Rogue, excellent. Rogue is probably my favorite. It's just so sick. It's got that kind of like Day of the Dead vibe from Mexican culture. It's very cool. Shaman, awesome. Oh, don't zoom in. Warlock, that's really sick. And then Warrior, which is kind of bland. Honestly, Warlock, Rogue, and I'd probably say Death Knight look the best to me. But I think these are only the heroic variations and not the mythics. There's also 2 new mounts from the raid, which is cool, and obviously a whole new batch of achievements. So yeah, that is pretty much the raid covered. Obviously the raid is the big content, especially for raiders. New dungeon will also become available upon the start of Season 2, and we'll have a new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation. Operation Floodgates, in the Brumeadery, the Rookery, Dark Flame Cleft, Priory of the Sacred Flame, the Motherlode, Mechagon, and Theatre of Pain. 2 BFA dungeons. The Motherlode's not too bad, but I'm not a huge fan. And Mechagon Workshop, I'm also not a huge fan. They're not bad, I don't like the layouts, they're a bit messy. Theatre of Pain, that's a cool one. Really enjoyed that. Feats of Strength, complete the following feats of strength, 4 Mythic Plus. So obviously the Mythic Plus mount is the Entertaining Shredder Tank. Enterprising Shredder Tank, sorry. Very cool. I think overall quite a rad looking little mount. Then we have the Keystone Hero, obviously great. Complete, all of these at level 10 or higher. And we have some new Mythic Plus affixes. Thank you, I don't know why that took so long. So Zetatas Bargain Pulsar. So this isn't new, but basically the Pulsars over the player, you pick them up, you get a buff. If you miss them, you take damage. Zetatas Guile. Level 12, increase health and damage. And Zetatas Bargain. So Dark Prayer is no longer a channel. Void Emissary. Dark Prayer now has a 15-second cast time, so this has been changed and this has been changed. So yeah. New delves, so we have Side Street Sluice and Excavation Site 9. Some pretty cool looking stuff, but nothing too crazy. If you have completed Ship It for Bram Brosbeard, which is obviously the introductory quest to the delve experience, you will basically be able to continue your quest line for delves, and obviously you will be able to entertain the new delves. So the Underpin is obviously the new version of the Zekthier's Lair. And we have delves with new variants. So we have a whole bunch of new variants all across all the delves, which I think is good. It'll help to spice it up. With that, we'll get some new schematics for the Delve Globetrotter, and I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, there's some challenges related to delves, which overall aren't too bad, mainly requiring you to complete tier 8, 9, 6, 7, 10, etc. And then obviously, moving upwards. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. All in all, Season 2 PvP, there's a new PvP arena, pretty straightforward. and some new rewards, being the arena mount for winning 50 games in the 3v3 arena, which I think is really rad. I really like the look of this mount. I think it's awesome. And obviously we have another one, which I also think is pretty badass. I think both PvP mounts this season are really well done, and I'm very impressed by them. We also have some new PvP class armor sets, which are just reskin variants of the raid. Then we have PvP seasonal achievements relating to your ranking. Finally, we have a new world boss, the Godfather. So he will appear in the Undermined Zone. He will give us some Undermine inspired armor, basically being new chest, legs, waist, feet, and neck, depending on your class. Obviously, there are some meta achievements. So PvP rating, mythic rating. This will give you a crystallized essence of Kajamat, which will grant 1 catalyst charge, and Dress to the Mines, which will basically give you the ability to add, which this is interesting. Complete one of the following achievements with feats of strength listed below. Before the season ends, get the Warbound Gagaleo High Roller's Stone that adds visual effects to the Liberation of Undermined sets. So this is very interesting because it seems like it's going to add new effects to the, which is probably why maybe they're not showing all of them or not mythic or anything, to all the armor sets from the raid. So it's very interesting, and we'll have to see what that entails, but I find it very cool. And overall, that obviously covers the Season 2 content in a nutshell. Of course, there will be class changes, and we'll take a look at all of that in a separate video. I think for me, I think the raid looks good. 8 bosses is fine. That's a good chunk of content. I think the new zone looks interesting. The drive mechanics for mounts is very cool. And in general, I think there is some pretty cool foundationary stuff here. Overall, what I would say is, for me, I think the content looks good. Super excited to see what happens. And yeah, well, that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.